Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick, and in this video we're going to be comparing the New Balance Fuel Cell SC Elite V4 versus the SC Elite V5. So the SC Elite line from New Balance is their flagship carbon plate racing shoe. The SC Elite V4 came out last year and it's been replaced by the SC Elite V5 this year. I want to do a comparison of the two shoes. We talked a lot about the differences between them in our full review, but I want to do a specific video for people who might be looking at buying the new shoe or comparing it to the old shoe, or who love the old shoe and are wondering about upgrading to the new shoe now it's come out, because it is quite a big difference. And often when brands update their top carbon plate racing shoe, there's not actually a huge amount of difference between the latest version and the previous model, but there certainly is with these two shoes. There's no difference in the price though, which is £260 in the UK and $250 in the US for both models, although the SC Elite V4 might well be going in sales now because it is the older shoe. You have got a big difference in weight though, with the SC Elite V5 being a much lighter shoe than the SC Elite V4. It's 210 grams or 7.4 ounces in a UK 9, it's a US 9.5, whereas the SC Elite V4 is 243 grams or 8.6 ounces in the same size. You've got a lower drop on the SC Elite V4. It has a 4mm drop, whereas the new SC Elite V5 has an 8mm drop. Both have a stack height of 40mm at the heel, so that drops to 32 on the V5 and 36 on the V4. So there's lots of similar elements between the two shoes on paper, but it adds up to a very different shoe overall. So you've got lightweight, breathable uppers on both shoes with minimal padding. These are racing shoes, so you don't expect to have too much padding or anything on here to keep the weight down. But there's a redesigned heel collar on the SC Elite V5, which addresses an issue with the SC Elite V4 where it rubbed the heel or the Achilles on runners and broke the skin quite often. Like I had that problem with the SC Elite V4, but the SC Elite V5 has this slightly different heel collar design with a little bit of padding there to make sure it holds the heel a bit more securely. Now the midsole on both shoes is made from New Balance's Fuel Cell foam. This is the 100% PIBA version of Fuel Cell. New Balance uses different versions of Fuel Cell in its range, but this is the best version, the full PIBA, lightweight, springy version of Fuel Cell, the best version as you'd expect in their flagship racing shoe. There's an energy arc carbon plate running through both of these shoes, but the midsoles are quite different. Not only is there a difference in drop in terms of the higher forefoot on the SC Elite V4, but the older shoe is also a lot wider than the new one, and that really is what counts for the massive difference in weight. And the much narrower, nimbler design of the SC Elite V5 is something that you really notice on the run. Makes it less stable than the SC Elite V4, but gives it a slightly more aggressive and fast feel. That's added to by the fact that the carbon plate in the SC Elite V5 has a stiffer forefoot than the one on the SC Elite V4, again with the idea of creating a more propulsive feel off the toes when you're running. Then it comes to the outside of the shoe, you've got the same configuration on both, with the forefoot covered with rubber and two strips at the back, but you've got a new tackier rubber on the SC Elite V5 to try and improve grip, with small triangular lugs on there as well. Very shallow triangular, not really lugs in the sense of like a trail shoe, but they have these little triangle shapes on the bottom, again to try and improve grip compared to the SC Elite V4. So when it comes to the fit of the two shoes, I've got the same size in both, which is a UK 9, US 9.5, and I found that the fit in both of them has been good on length. Sometimes New Balance, the sizing can be a bit tricky, especially with their racing shoes. They can come up very short, but that's not the case with either of these two shoes. I've had enough room around the toes with both of them, but the SC Elite V4 definitely has a wider toe box. It's one of the widest carbon plate shoes I've come across, I'd say, in general when it comes to fit, and the SC Elite V5 comes in a bit more narrower in a more traditional design, which suits me as I have a narrow foot, but the SC Elite V4 is a bit more accommodating, has a more volume in the toe box of the shoe. New Balance tends to be one of the few brands that offers wide versions of their carbon plate racing shoes. That was the case with the SC Elite V4. Expect it will be true of the SC Elite V5 when it fully launches as well. The fit around the heel has definitely been improved on the SC Elite V5. Like, I didn't have major problems with the SC Elite V4 myself. Once I heel locked it, I was able to avoid anything too bad in terms of heel rub with the V4, but it definitely was something I noticed a bit on longer runs with the SC Elite V5. I've had no concerns at all with heel rub on it, even just leaving it in its normal lacing configuration. So yeah, that has been improved and addressed in the latest version of the shoe. So I've run around 60 kilometers in both of these shoes, obviously mostly testing the SC Elite V4 last year when it came out and testing the SC Elite V5 recently. I've done a mix of hard training sessions and long runs in both of these shoes, working at a range of paces from marathon pace efforts right down to short, sharp intervals in them. They're both fast shoes with a good foam in the midsole for sure, but it is a very different experience when you're running in them. Like the SC Elite V4 wasn't my favourite carbon shoe. It wasn't one that really was my cup of tea, basically. I don't think it's a bad shoe, but it didn't really suit my taste. I'm a high cadence runner. I've got quite a shuffly style. well, and I prefer the narrower, nimbler, more aggressive carbon plate racing shoes in general. So although I felt I could run in fast in the SE Elite V4, the kind of wider, springier, more stable design just didn't really suit me that well compared to a shoe like the SE Elite V5, which does have that faster turnover. So while it felt good cruising along at kind of marathon pace, that kind of thing, I did notice the weight in a negative way when pushing to faster paces, and in general didn't really feel like I was benefiting that much from its very cruisy design and comfortable design. Like, I prefer a more direct and fast feel from a carbon racer. And that is definitely the feel you get from the SE Elite V5, which is more in tune with lots of other shoes on the market. It's got that more aggressive toe-off, a more noticeable forefoot rocker. Interestingly, you kind of get tipped forward more, something that's aided by the high drop, I'm sure, as well, really throwing me forward from my heel as a heel striker onto the forefoot. It does feel like you get a more poppy, punchy, propulsive feel off that carbon plate when you're running fast. That's definitely noticeable when you're looking at shorter reps and shorter races. I think it's a much better 5K racing shoe or a track shoe, the SE Elite V5, and that feeling is what I prefer as well in long distance racing shoes, because you have still got a lot of comfort underfit from the foam, the Piba foam in the midsole there, so it's going to be comfortable enough for things like marathons, and you have that faster, more flowing transition onto the forefoot, which does give you a bit more punch, I'd say. The downsides of this new design though are that it is less stable than the SE Elite V4, and it's probably going to be less comfortable and accommodating for those who really loved the wider, more stable base of the SE Elite V4. So it makes it probably a less accessible shoe. It's one that I prefer, but I would say if you love the SE Elite V4, I wouldn't go and buy the SE Elite V5 necessarily, because I do think it's quite a different experience. And that is a bit of a negative for New Balance as a lineup. To have a line of shoes that changes so much each time does mean it's hard for runners to really engage with and love that line, I think. But it does mean that runners like myself who didn't love the SE Elite V4 now have a shoe they prefer within the range. But yeah, like I say, they don't really have that continuity of a racing shoe. I did do a short run wearing both shoes at the same time, and it is very noticeable the extra width you have on the SE Elite V4 in particular. You really feel it supporting the sides of each foot as you're running. It's got that cruisier feel, but it does feel heavier, less nimble on the foot than the SE Elite V5, which has a lot more drive, I think, really pushes you onto your toes, and you get more pop off the carbon plate and foam combination in the shoe as well. It feels more aggressive and fast, basically. So onto the verdict, and as I said in the run test, these two shoes will suit different people, and the SE Elite V5 is much more suited to my taste. I think it's a faster shoe, all-round racing shoe. I think that goes for any runner. I think it is the faster shoe because it's lighter, it's got a more aggressive design, and it just produces better, especially at short distances. Over the course of a marathon, the extra comfort you get from the SE Elite V4 might come into play though, and it certainly has a lot of appealing features on it that might make it the better choice for lots of runners than the SE Elite V5. It's one of the more stable and accommodating racing shoes on the market. It's very comfortable, it does have that width, it's got a comfortable fit, and it's really good for cruising through longer events, especially if you're someone who hasn't used a lot of carbon plate racing shoes, in general hasn't really tapped into that area of the market before. I think it is one of the more approachable ones, a really good option for a first carbon plate racing shoe, and one that's going to be more supportive if you're maybe a heavier runner and really just looking for a more bouncy, cushy ride from a carbon plate shoe that is still very fast, but maybe doesn't feel as direct and aggressive as something like the SE Elite V5, which is also less stable. And if you love the SE Elite V4, I wouldn't necessarily go and buy the SE Elite V5 because I think it is a quite different experience, and I'd look for the SE Elite V4 on a sale if you can. But if you did find the SE Elite V4 was just a bit too big and heavy and cushy for you for a racing shoe, then I think you're going to much prefer the SE Elite V5 like I do, which has that more purposeful ride to it. However, I think looking at the market at large, I think the SE Elite V4 might have a bit of advantage, because if you're looking for a sleek, lightweight, propulsive, aggressive racer, the SE Elite V5 wouldn't be my pick. I'd go and look at Puma or Adidas or Asics, and those brands I think have slightly superior racers to the SE Elite V5. Whereas if you're looking for a stable, wide, more accommodating and cushy carbon plate racing shoe, I think the SE Elite V4 is one of the better options on the market. Like, not too many brands are making carbon plate shoes like that. There was kind of a bit of a trend towards that with a few previous generations, but now I'm very much into the streamlined, lightweight, narrow generation of carbon plate racing shoes. I mean, the Alphafly 3 is a very comfortable shoe, but it's not as wide and stable, I think, as the SE Elite V4. Actually, the Diadora Gara Carbon 2 is a very good carbon plate shoe with those characteristics, but it's very expensive, and the SE Elite V4, like I say, will probably be in sale. So I do think it has a bit more of a almost standout quality on the market for its type of carbon shoe, which isn't to my taste, but might suit lots of runners very well. SE Elite V5 is more to my taste, but I do think there are carbon shoes of that type that I do prefer to it. So yeah, all around, it's quite an interesting change that New Balance has made, I think, which is why I want to do this video. They're quite different carbon plate racing shoes. They'll suit different types of runners. I think probably the main takeaway would be, if you love the SE Elite V4, I wouldn't just naturally upgrade to the SE Elite V5, because I think it's got quite a different feel on the run. That's our comparison of New Balance SC Elite V4 and the SC Elite V5. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.